This is day 2 of our flower pattern project. So picking up where we left off, today we're going to be adding texture and patterns to make the flower petals. We're going to be using a Sharpie. And the first thing that we want to do is to take a look at our flower backgrounds. And you can see where there's like these little, it looks like eraser mark left behind. And if yours is like mine and it has just a little bit of that, then it's probably actually from the felt tip of the markers. And we want to just gently, before we do anything else, really gently with our fingers, just clear those little eraser marks off, so that it doesn't cause any problems. You can see over here there's a little bit more, maybe here. We waited a whole day to do this so that those are nice and dry and won't smear or cause problems with our artwork. Okay, now we're going to add petal textures, and we're going to be using a black Sharpie on top of a totally dry acrylic marker background. Shouldn't cause any problems to the Sharpie or the background. And we're going to start with whichever flower you are excited about starting with. So I'm going to start with my big flower. I might rotate my paper so that it's easier to get to. And I'm going to start by making a circle in the middle. It does not have to be a perfect circle. Close is close enough. And then I'm going to make a petal on this side over here, and a petal opposite, and then a petal here, and a petal opposite. One of the things that I love about this Sharpie on this background is that it just gives a really interesting line, sometimes thick and sometimes thin. And now I'm just going to start making more petals, and I'm going to make a petal that comes here, maybe one that kind of marches around. And I'm just repeating this shape of a petal. And however it lands is just fine. You can see where I kind of made that little boo-boo there, where my line extended into a petal. Rather than just throwing my project away or starting all over, I'm just going to come back and I'm going to fix it by thickening up the line where that overlap is. And then maybe I'll make it look more intentional by adding a slightly thicker line there. Now nobody knows. All right, now I'm going to add another layer of petals. And I started on the inside petal, working my way out intentionally so that the petals that I make on the outside look like they are underneath the petals on the inside. This is kind of a bird's eye view. So looking down on my flower, the petals that are furthest to the outside would be underneath the petals that are on the inside. So you always start with whatever you see in front, and then you work your way to whatever you see in the back. It's okay if there's a little bit of variety in the shape of your petals. And it's okay if there's a little bit of variety in the size of your petals. This is kind of a rectangular shaped petal. Ooh, I like that, how it gets a little thicker there. I'm going to maybe do more of that. I'm kind of holding my Sharpie so that it's a little bit flatter than it was before. And it gives me that effect, which I really like. So this could be a mum or a zinnia or any kind of flower that has this type of look to the petals. Look at that. Awesome. Now we're going to go on to another flower. This one, instead of having petals that are kind of rectangular in shape, I'm going to start with my center, make it a little bit bigger than the other one, and then I'm going to make these looping petals. And because I want these to look like they're not exactly the same, I'm making these petals are going to be a little bit bigger. Okay. You're just going to take the same approach to all of the flowers. This one I'm going to make very long, almost daisy-like loops. If it falls off the page, just let it fall off the page. Whoopsie, I got a little carried away there. My smallest flowers, I'm going to do something different with. I'm going to give them a center, but then I'm going to give them one big petal coming off both sides, and then maybe two to fill in this side and two to fill in this side. I'm going to do that with all of my smaller circles. Now I'm going to come back and make a little highlights or lowlights on my flowers. For my purple flowers, I'm going to pick a light purple to give accent. So I'm going to give these little light accent colors on the inside of my petal, and I'm going to make a circle in the middle, and then maybe do some accents, just giving a little bit of variety. As if the center of each petal had a little light accent color on it. So I'm just imagining that the center of each petal has this little like light purple spot on it. And that light is going to just make the flower just really extra special. Now it almost looks three-dimensional. It's almost hopping off of the page. Now let's add some texture to our leaves. Take your thick Sharpie. You can add a spine, and you can add this signature leaf texture. You could also add this kind of shape inside of your leaf. Do all sorts of things. There you go. Great job, guys.